Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Liver Show, baby. You know, I was doing something dangerous this morning. I was thinking, you know what I mean? Thought I'd start it off light, you know what I mean? As we get in Bitcoin, 87,250. Oh my gosh. What is going on? That's not supposed to happen. Let's see what went on right here. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Let me bounce on into the charts. At least we can see the charts. Hold on 1 second. That was odd. That should not have happened. All right. Sometimes this camera, man, I got to get a new camera, I guess. Apparently it's dying on me out of nowhere. Shout out to everybody here on the live. So sorry to do that. Let's keep it pushing. 87,150. Act like it never happened. 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 It never happened. What's your name? You forgot your name. You forgot your name. What's your name? You remember your name now. What's your name? Nothing happened. You just got here. Did you just get here? You just got here. 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 What's your name? You forgot your name. You don't know your name. Now your name. You know your name. What's your name? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. All right, let's break down BTC. Let's see what's happening for Bitcoin. For some reason, why does it just sound a little different today? You never know. Always something. Check, check, check. 1, 2. I know. I got it. I got it. I figured it out. I'm on it. All right, so Bitcoin made a bear flag last night, but remember I said I would only long if the 5-minute broke above the 200 moving average and touched the 21, which it did. Right here, you can see we did break above right there. We got this little move, and we got a pump. What was that? Tuesday at 5:30 in the morning, right? Came up hard to 87.7. Came down strong, right? And what was this? This was 8:30. And what happened at 8:30, everybody? Where's my good students? The data came in at 8:30, right? And that's what we talked about. Remember I said watch out for 8:30? So a lot of people are going to forget this. I know what's happened to me, and I've told you about it. So I know someone here, or maybe not someone here, but someone out there, or maybe someone here, watch my stream twice where I mentioned 8:30, still opened a trade up at 8:25, and then lost the trade. And then they were like, oh my gosh, I forgot, 8:30. If that happened to you, that's the best thing that can happen, because that's how you'll remember it forever. It's happened to me when I've told you guys about it, which is crazy. That's why I always tell people to write a sticky note and put it on your monitor. Because then you'll go to open the trade and you'll see the sticky note in your monitor. You're like, what does that say? You'll be like, 8:30 data. And you're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't do it. Because you'll put it in Siri. You'll tell yourself, you can write it down. But you'll still, because you're going to go, we're vicious for the trade. When it's ready to go to the trade, it's a part of our brain. We're just like ready to rock. And so we go right at it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Thank you, Shano. Blessings on blessings. Shout out to everybody here kicking it with me. So this data came in. Non-farm unemployment came in. And look, I mean, forecasted 54. Previous was 119. And it's 64, right? So, hey, it's better than forecast. Okay? So I'll take it. That's a bullish sign. Core retail sales was up. They thought it'd be down, but it's actually up a point. And that's 2 points from forecast, which is bullish too. Okay? It means people are spending money. And average hourly earnings month over month is down though. So the earnings is down, but the spending is up. So people don't care. It's the holidays. Maybe, they're going to buy what they got to buy for family and friends. Cyber Monday came through. So that's obviously probably skewed data too, because that's just when, like, I wait and buy things. I put myself, whatever. I don't even want to talk about it, but the idea is I don't even have to spend money at all. But back in the day, like, I needed things, right? I don't know. My whole point is even I buy a few things for discount on Cyber Monday that I don't even, you know what I mean? That I probably, just because it's that. So people spend because at that point, and it's obvious to me. Because if you do it, other people do it. That's one thing that I was taught, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. Unemployment rate, it's not that big of a deal, but it's an interesting story. 4.6%, right? And it comes in higher than forecast. So it's weird. Like, people are spending more, they're making a little less, and they're working less. You see? So the economy regurgitates money. And again, though, people are saving money. Okay? So there you go. And maybe people are making money other ways. A lot of more people are making money online. You know, I thought about the other day, the average person now can be basically an amateur influencer. Like, look at me. I'm not like famous. I'm not a big thing. I'm like my little person with my little world. You know what I mean? They call us a micro niche celebrity. You know what I mean? People know me around the world. Technically, I could say I'm famous around the world, but really, is that true? You know what I mean? It's balanced. So the point is, people can make money online more than ever, and I think people are tapping in, and that's hard to see because that doesn't come out as employment. You know what I mean? I don't know how that comes out as. I mean, it's self-employed, but a lot of people are beginning to. I don't know if it picks up. I think there's a big wave of self-employed, because here's the deal. I'll talk about it in a second too. We'll break that down. But there's I got to write, So Thursday, unemployment claims come in. So Thursday at 8:30, a lot coming our way. All right, that's kind of the next day. Tomorrow, really a nothing burger. Likely to be flat. We actually might get some movement today because of that. All right. You're top 1% of the world, baby. You could just hear ZZ Top in the background. You're a big one to us, man. Keep going, and no doubt you'll be more than even that. God bless you, man. Thank you. My nephew has been making money online since he was 16. See? Yeah. Shout out to all the awesome people here on the live. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're so happy to be with you every single day here. The whole team, The Crypto Lifer Show, baby. Okay, so let's move forward. Let's break down our Bitcoin top-down analysis. I can't wait to kind of dig deep into BTC. Wow, look at that, Pippin. They took it all. So crazy, man. I don't trust any coin out here. I really don't. Nice little move, though. So to me, it looks like a bear flag. You see what I'm saying? I don't think it's worth trading. Even last night, I said I wouldn't trade the day before data as we're going into chop. I said I would only long if we break above, That's why I just stick to the model. Even when we're bearish, somehow we get the model. Right? There's one of my models right there. The 5-minute makes a flag. That's the last thing I say to my students, too, before I go to bed at night. I'm like, I wouldn't touch it, but this is one thing I'm looking at. Maybe you get the move. And then, what the heck is this, right? It's a bunch of up and down. We're going to get back to this. End of the day, you got to say it looks somewhat like, an ascending triangle. It is, again, above the 200, touching the 21. Every time I do that, I'm just a little more biased to be bullish. I still see, kind of cat ears, bit of a double top. Could it be an M pattern? And that's the thing. Once you lose the 200, that's when I flip bearish. This area, I call this the abyss. This is outside the trend, but above the 200. So that's where they could do whatever they want. They could wick it. They could hang. But once you're down here, usually it's a continuation. Just like here. I mean, that was boom, boom. And need I say more? Boom. Right above. Yay, bing. Right above. Yay, bing, bing, And then here. Whee! So, why not trade the 200? I think I just proved something just there. I should do this as a TikTok. Join my trading group. Wee, wee, wee. Meh, 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 meh. And then just be like, I swear that would go viral, what I just did. My team should clip that, and we should send it out and see what it does as a short or something, because that type of stuff is what I'm seeing. I think what I just did was hot, right? I think that will go viral, right, everybody? Anybody out there? I mean, that's how you teach these days. That will get through to people. If I sit there and say, hey, listen, this is the 200 moving average, but they're done. They've clicked off. But if I do what I just did, they might actually learn what I'm talking to them. You see what I'm saying? I know it's crazy, but I'm starting to realize that the way you communicate to the youth is different now. You throw informational frisbees at them until they catch it you know what I mean? Just you can't, it's different. TikTok and YouTube, short of the century, right? Bling, bling. Someone said clipped. Oh, man. And, you put me at the bottom, you put it up at the top, and you just had me just whatever, man. Let that thing run. So there's a chance just while we're going to jump into the bigger time frames for a second here. and we're going to travel through space and time. But, you know, while we do that, you can just have this cooking on another screen. You see what I'm saying? You can just have this kind of in waiting. So what I'll do is here, I believe I'm on Binance. I should be, yeah. So what I like to do is I go to BTC, USDT. I like Bybit Spot. That thing, it did dip. Remember we looked at this like a dip? And that's a short. So far, this short just looks like it will continue, you know. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm like, we're looking at the 5 minuto, right? Yeah. So, and this is hopium. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not saying this is happening. I just want to make this clear. I'm not like, because people come to my channel and like, it's like, oh, this guy's calling along right now. No, I'm saying this is a model that I've backtested for years, and there's a good chance it plays out, but I don't know. I'm going to look at the bigger time frames and see if there's anything that backs this up, right? So we're looking for tight price action and a move back up here to 89,355. It's kind of how the short squeeze looks before it happens. And, you know, it just has that shoulder, head, shoulder. Can we get that inverted head and shoulder for Bitcoin? And, you know, that's just what I'm looking at. It doesn't mean it's going to happen for sure. It doesn't mean it's coming our way guaranteed. It's just something that I'm starting to see. Okay? All right. All right. You got it. Oh, welcome. This is Sammy White with the Bitcoin Blues. So we're going to move on from this, but it looks nice. It looks interesting. It also, I could see it becoming a lame little double top there that breaks us down too. I mean, I'm pretty bearish on Bitcoin because the bigger time frames do not look good. You kind of got a little bit of, I guess, a kind of a cup and handle. I don't know. It doesn't look amazing though. I guess you could say there's your cup, there's your handle. It could break out. Measured move is similar area. You do have a gap in the VRVP there. You see that? So if you get above there, there's some, you know, there's a nice move there. You know, we've identified that many times. A fast move down gives us a fast move back to the upside. The smooth move. Ooh. All right. If it goes in fast, it comes out. If it goes in fast, it comes out fast. Kind of like a sloppy burrito. I shouldn't. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I know. I won't do it again. All right. I gotta work on it. So let's take a look here at the monthly chart and see what's happening for Bitcoin. Can't be Sam. I gotta be the lifer, man. That guy is, you know, clean cut, on point. Sam is, you know, he's a little bit of a joker. He's kind of like a mix between Bart Simpson, Dennis the Menace, you know what I mean? And the robot in Futurama, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's take a look. The monthly chart still showing hidden bullish divergence. What is that? It's a swing down on the RSI with a swing up in price action. However, hidden bullish a couple times in my life has, you know what I mean? It's like not really solid just yet, but you are getting it into the oversold region on the monthly. However, that's usually the beginning. Look, the last time we were about to approach the dotted line was right there. And that would continue with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months, which isn't that bad if you think about it. Like, we can cruise through 11 months as a team. You know what I mean? Then everyone will, you remember, once everything comes back, everyone's going to jump back again. There is a time when people will come back. This market will roar again. I promise you that. No matter how deep it goes, it will roar again. How deep can we go? Well, let's just take a look. I mean, let's all take a deep breath. Let's take what's called emotions. So right now, what everyone here has to do is take what's called emotions and put them aside. Like, here's us. This is me or you. This is you. This is me. You know, nothing. No jokes aside. It's just, you know, we're both handsome. You're more handsome than I am. You know what I mean? Obviously, I am not that handsome. You're far more handsome. And the ladies, you know, I don't want to say, you know, it is what it is. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there. So the point is this. I just don't, you know what I mean? The point, this is us, me, we, and here's our emotions. They're all kind of right here. And they tell us like what's supposed to be happening, and we live by them and die by them, and they control our brain, you know? So we have to take these, pick them up, put them over here, There's a big bookshelf over here. Watch this. This is fun because once we do this, they can't stop us, right? And we're going to take this big hand. It's going to come grab the emotions. It's going to grab them here. It's going to put them on the shelf. And all the emotions are here now. All our emotions are on the shelf. Now we're going to come back to the brain, clear. Ready to go. Right? That's a smiley face. It really is. I know. We're good to go, though. Okay, check now. All right. So the point is, let's roll now, right? We've all put our emotions on the side now. Just, you know what I mean? Because we have to see things clear. Because I want a bull run. Everyone's telling us 2026, super cycle. All this stuff is being told to us. And if you take too much of it in, it becomes your thesis. It becomes your, you can't fight it. I've been there. Like, I know I'm admitting something that's like, I've been brainwashed by Crypto X and all the stuff I've read. It doesn't happen to me anymore because I do my own thing every single day. And my brain eventually, gets so chiseled into what I'm doing. Because I'm like chipping away at the stone my way. Your brain's like a stone. And everything you're watching is them. Look, this is an amazing metaphor real quick before we kind of finish. But your brain is like this stone. And everything you watch and read every day is chiseled and chipped at you. And chipped at you. And chipped at you. And if you just keep watching the certain amount of stuff and you stay around a certain amount of stuff, it's going to chisel your brain a certain way. And you're going to be that. You know what I mean? That's why, like, I work out every morning. I do the show every day. And at least those two things chisel me till 12 o'clock, right? You know what I'm saying? And again, and you got to have a routine that chisels you. So the world doesn't chisel you. That's exactly what Jim Rohn said today. I listened to Jim Rohn and he said, you got to have your own direction. Like, he said, you're either building or you're going backwards. He's like, doing nothing is going backwards. And eventually that routine takes everything away. Anyway, let's finish the charts and we could talk about this all later. But so we have swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down. And then what you want to do, we want to do a couple things. From just the very beginning of this bull run, I want to pull a fib to the top of these wicks. And I just want to see how low could we go. The 786 is the lowest we've ever gone. And that would be $38,000, right? And then there's, some support there at 47. So, as sad as this has to say, I see this as making the right shoulder. I'm still looking for that secondary pump. I don't know when it's going to come, but it seems likely to me, but who knows? There's a very good chance I'm completely wrong. And this kind of lines up. I mean, I learned the measured move is the wick to the wick. I've learned that now, and I've really tested it, and it's played out many times. So, like, that would make, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is guaranteed to happen. There's a chance that we get some type of super cycle. I'm just going over the worst case scenario. This is the worst case scenario for everybody here, all right? And it's not even that bad. We'll be able to make money shorting. The head and shoulders should be pretty apparent, But this is going to take a long time. This is the monthly chart, right? And then here we'd get the wicks. That's when we would get the bullish div on the even on the monthly probably. So because we got bearish div on the monthly, we'd have to get some bullish div on the monthly, which would mark the bottom. Funny, the halving would come in right around there. Interesting. Usually we pump pre-halving, but that's the halving right there. December. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's the 20. No. Yeah, it's a year before the halving, which makes sense. The bottom is about a year before, right? This bottom was 2 years before that. No, about a little bit, but yeah, about a year. Yeah, January of 2023 area. So this would be, kind of somewhat similar, not too much. That would have to be 2026 January. Right here, December. It's pretty close. You know what I mean? It would actually line up exactly with the same time period almost. It actually could. It could actually, you don't know. We don't know. And so then you make this bottom and then we dig our way out. We make the cup and handle. We break above the moving averages. We get above the 5-day 200. And then I say, hey, just like last time, this is our chance. And, and then Bitcoin moons, back to where, and you get this long falling wedge, right? And then you would get the measured move. That's why everyone says $1 million by these crazy, you know what I mean? And this tells me like 2030, you're at $166,000, right? But the point about this 166 is when you finally hit this 166, like the next bottom is somewhere near 100K. Like at that point, you can pull a fib, and you can see like the lowest you can go is 63. You know what I mean? So again, and then if that plays out again, and I'm not saying it could be, but like maybe it accelerates due to inflation, hyperinflation, and that's the point of all this. Something I can't see. I still get 224,000 by, 2034. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Like, let's do something different here. Let's try to find, I just want to be a realist because a lot of people keep making these huge, and I'm really bullish on Bitcoin. Say it goes into a super cycle for some reason, and it even if it does perfect, look at it. It does exactly what last cycle did, or if it has some type of bottom. Look at that. I mean, even if you take the last cycle, chance it could do this. There's a chance it's doing this, and you get there earlier, but it's 2029. You know what I mean? So I just want to be a realist for people, and like when you look at all this stuff, like $1 million by 2030, I don't know if that's true, right? And I'm super bullish on Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great asset. I think it's awesome. I think it preserves wealth. I think it's the future gold. Like, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want with that information. And if you like it, go with it. If it's not, this stuff has to be, you have to have conviction on your own. Otherwise, you can't rent conviction is what I'm trying to say. You can't rent someone else's conviction. Like, I can't believe in a coin. And, and that's the problem what people do is they watch a YouTube channel. I think, and I've been privy to this when I've been a beginner. And the person is so savvy, so awesome. And the way they just sell you're just like, man, that's just, I want it. That's going to be it. I'm all in on that. You know what I mean? And, and next thing you know, like, you're all in on someone else's conviction. Then when the price doesn't do what it's supposed to do, people are panic selling and freaking out because they never had that person's conviction. You see what I'm saying? That person might have had conviction. Sometimes the person was selling it so well because they do have really good conviction. Like sometimes they're not a shill. They love the project. Like when Casper first started, I really liked Casper. A proof of work, altcoin, I thought it was really cool. Sorry to lick the spoon there. Forgot I was on camera, but I had to. I didn't want it to drip on the floor. You know what I mean? Got to make a joke of the strangeness. You do it. Silver, very squeezed, short time frame. I mean, silver's doing great. And we gave you silver. Yeah. He says, you're on linear scale. If your log scale targets are way higher, you also need to use fib extensions to the upside. You're way off. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And maybe you're completely correct. Yeah. Let me do one, I could, let me make one other like fun idea for you. Like somehow we bounce here and we turn this into consolidation. We turned it into pretty tight consolidation. This is hopium for anyone out there. Somehow we bounce sooner than later. This is the bottom. I would assume so when you're at 10 and 11. And we bounce and we get to 225 by August of 2028. You see? But to me, that's just, that's kind of what we have to see sooner than later. We got to get something cooking like that, Could happen. But it's still going to take some time. Well, and that encompasses the halving, you know what I mean? And then there's no cycle. And there's no bear cycle for Bitcoin. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's so this is the most bullish scenario. To me, I'd rather look at reality and then go from there. But you never know. I'm open-minded. Let's take a look at, let's have a poll here in the live chat and see what's happening. Shout out to everyone here in the live chat. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Let's start a poll. Scenario 1, and some people won't be able to know if they're not here, but scenario 1 or 2, and just write 1 or 2 there. Scenario 1 or 2 for BTC. If I could, wow, it's crazy. I could typo that small. Like I could have to write that much and still typo. Scenario 1 or scenario 2, right? 1 was longer time to hit 200K. Start the poll. Just want to see what people think realistically. Some people say, hey, I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. Some in for the long haul. All right. Thanks for the amazing trading group. Shout out to you, man. God bless anyone in the group. God bless you. We appreciate it. Go to cryptolifer.com to find out more. Subscribe, and you can join the quarterly, annual, or even a basic monthly. Just dip your toe in to find out what it's like to be with people that trade for a living and teach and learn. This is still doing its thing inside the same scenario it was in when we left it. We can get back to our long-term analysis, which is awesome. Look how they look similar right now. Isn't that funny? You know, I see the 15-minute in the monthly. I see the monthly in the 15-minute. I see the macro and the micro, the micro and the macro. And I learn so much from trading every single day. And that's why I love this channel. It's not really about Bitcoin does what it's going to do. But we're going to learn from it all the time. We're like sailors at sea. And the sea is going to give us, some days are going to be calm. Some days are going to be hard. Some days are going to be beautiful. Some days we're going to actually have to use all our might to fight through the storm. And then some days are going to be beautiful after that. Like you never have those bearish times and then we all win. And it's all green and we're all like high-fiving each other, right? So even this fib, from here to here, you've bounced off the 886, the 786. I mean, it tells you there's somewhat of a retracement, which very strange to hear is like, in that we're at an 11 today. And I think this, you know what I mean? Last month we were at a 10. They gave you 22 and we're back at an 11. I've never seen this really lower than 9. So to me, this signals it's the greatest time to buy BTC ever. Every time, and again, you do whatever makes you happy. But every time I've seen 11, it's been one of the greatest times to buy Bitcoin in the history of my life. So you do whatever makes you happy, but that to me is just, I can't reiterate how much that is amazing right there. So, but we'll see. Only time will tell. But every time I've bought in Bitcoin when we were at 11, it's panned out to be one of the greatest things I ever did. Again, who knows? I don't know what to tell you, but all I can say is that every time I've done it, it's been a good look. I also have like a longer outlook than a couple months. So there's some bullish signs here on the monthly. There's some Fibonacci retracement. There's high fear. Both of those have created a bounce, and there's some hidden bullish divergence. So on the monthly, despite all the bearishness, there's a twinkle of hope. There's a twinkle of hopium out there. Okay? And again, we could, and also on top of that, there's also support right at 82,000. 82,550, which we looked at yesterday, right? Pretty close. If we really zoom in there and get crazy with it. But it's about 82,550. Can't hit it exactly because the candle's so big on a bigger, but you get it. And we looked at this because we hovered here and we said, when was the open? And you can see the open was 82,550 even too, like without even a joke, So there's some support at 82,550. If we break that, then we come back down to the next monthly support at about 71,000. Taking its time for sure, but that's what happens on these bigger bearish and bigger bullish moves. 2-week chart, not loving that close. That closes in 5 days. Maybe there's a chance that can flip green and change the story, but right now, that's a bearish tweezer top of the 2-week. Not happy for, not my thing. And we just closed a bearish tweezer top last week, and then we followed through, Sunday night, and now we're following through with another bearish close. So, and that would be, assumed. That to me is assumed. Also, where the 21 and the 200 are far apart. So, despite the monthly showing signs of hope, I just don't see it on the smaller time frames. You see what I mean? So, I gather data. It doesn't mean, this is a higher low. There's a chance this makes another tweezer bottom. And there's a chance this goes sideways for longer than you want it to. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be 30 days. These are 5-day candles. And this could make a nice long fat. And then we could dump. We could be dumping at the end of January. You see? After chop. So I just want you to understand how long this could take. Even if you're bearish and you're waiting for your dump, you might get in. You might have got it. If you're really bearish and you get into the trade, right? You might have entered the trade. Some people did. They entered the trade here. They got their stops up here. And they've just been waiting. And they might have to wait 30 days. They might have to wait 60 days for payday. So you'll make bigger money on the bigger time frames, but it takes so much longer to get paid. You know, I thought I could trade the bigger time frames. I thought I had what it takes. And even me with my patience, it's like, whoa. 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 60 days. Sometimes it takes 80 days, sometimes 90 days. I don't know if you see in Crypto, he makes some of the biggest trades in the world, right? His trades are open for a year and a half. You know, because the bigger your trade, the bigger time you need. It's interesting. It's how time works. Like, you know, some people swing trade millions on the 1 minute. I get it. But to me, that's just high risk, because if it doesn't go your way, you're losing millions. And to me, that's just not, you know, and you can trade that way if you want, but, and the end result, think about the end result. We evolve. We're progressive people, right? So you start trading and you got your screens in front of you, and you start with your small $10,000 account, or if you're lucky, some people start with 200, some people start with $50, some people are from a third world country with a couple bucks. I've seen it. And they've used the strategies that we've taught them to turn it into $100. Like, I've seen someone literally turn smallest amount of money into, people have done things I can't even dream of doing. It's like their back's against the wall. They take our strategies and they go crazy with them. It's pretty crazy, you know. But you start doing this on small time frames, and, you know, wouldn't you want to? So you think 10 years from now, after trading for 10 years, do you want to be on the 1 minute swinging millions of dollars? Like coming home from dinner? You know, everyone would. I think every man should want a wife and kids to help procreate, because we have low birth rate right now. So the entire human race is falling off. And so we need men to have children, and we need families, because families, you know, are strong and create good societies, right? We all know when there's the man's home, it creates a stronger family. And when there's more families together, it creates a better society overall, right? Like, which society would you want to live in? There's two tribes. One tribe, all the men just disappear, get drunk, shoot at each other, and die early. And so all the boys have no fathers. Or society where the men grow, you know, work with wood, you know, pray, are humble, and teach their sons, and all are at home. I would want to be at the society where all the men are at home. Why? Because the chances of me being safe are way higher in that society. You know what I mean? So it just shows you can break everything down to what it is. The nuclear family could save society. Period. You know, but my whole point is, so if we all want to become amazing people and add to the world, and again, everyone has their different view of humbleness and where they end up, and I'm not pushing mine on you. Yeah. But here's the dude. Yeah, no, someone says you sound a bit strange. Maybe the flu, no. I have bird flu. I got bird flu, man. Yeah, no, I don't have bird flu, man. Yeah. So my whole point is, as you progress, I'd rather be trading like the 4 or 5 day chart with like hundreds of thousands of dollars to a few million, and watching things pan out over a few months. You know, when you progress as a trader, 20 years from now, you know, I've been trading 20 years. So when I started swing trading, like, you hope I started being able to trade the bigger time frames and just sitting back and watching. You know what I mean? My whole point is, that's the whole thing I want to say. All right. 87,500 for Bitcoin, getting a little pumpage. Let's see here. Nice little pump. Out the flag too. And it is the signal. It's telling me to take the tradito. However, times are, you know, this is it's a very hard time to trade the end of the year, the last 2 weeks in December. There's always chop. There's a lot of people, you know, it's just, for me, it's been notorious. Good too, there's good volatility. Like, if you can catch your model, like this model is cool, but it's, you know, we'll see. This does say we should pump. Your targets are 88.5 and 89.2. The 5 minute is touching above the 200 moving average. It's a bit of an inverted head and shoulder. And you would go up, you know, you want to crack. I'd like to take the trade if the 15 minute crosses, maybe. Like, take the bigger chart. Let's get back into the bigger time frames. But nice pump. Look at that. I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. Look at that. Beautiful move, right? Clean. So far clean on the spot on 5-minute time frame there. Beautiful. So the 5-day chart could take its time. You see? Just want to put this out there. I mean, we got to be open-minded to this idea. And then the 3-day, which is fighting so hard to kind of do, maybe make a double bottom or, fight this support and keep this support. A lot of resistance right here. There's a good chunk of liquidity. And every time we get in there, it does get eaten up. The people like to buy the zone just because there's some strength here. So they put in buy orders. You can see there's a nice POC, a point of control. 84.3. We dip near it. Every time we dip into it or near it, there's a buy. So there's some strength down here, as you can clearly see. Let's see how the 3-day candle closes. See if we can get a tweezer bottom on the 3-day on the way back to the upside. There is a chance. I'll be watching that closely. The daily, sticking in for a tweezer bottom, which to me is odd. I almost feel like it just could be coming in for a bearish retest. I wouldn't get too excited about any of this. Because to me, like, it had to have left the pattern already. You know what I mean? Like, you can open this up and say, it's what is that, right? So for me, like, come back inside the pattern or make a new pattern, a shoulder, a head or right shoulder, but you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta break back above this high. For me, it's all about this high right here. See this? 87.8, 88,000. You break back above 88K, okay, we're playing some ball. And remember, the smartest thing to do too is, like I said before, is you wait for 94,000 to break. We break above 94K, so you're telling me we have that is level playing field. There's got to be some type of flag, you think, or maybe we just zoom so fast you don't get a chance because too many people think they get the retest. But I bet on the 5-minute, the 15, somewhere there's going to be a retest and there's going to be an entry here. That's a beautiful gap. You got to be looking at that for some price action. And there's a good amount of liquidity there. And what you want to see is you want to see liquidity, but then you want to see something to back it up. So look, when you ever see, look, boom, 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 right? What are we hitting? We're hitting a wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Look at this. We hit it too. Boom, 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 boom. We hit it up. Boom, boom, boom. So look, you can see a wall. A wall. Look, we hit it here. Boom, boom. And that was a big zone because that's where we hit it on some big money. That's when the real top happened. When a real top happened, you can get some real. So look, now you can really be able to, now you can be like, wow, that's a demand zone. You can clearly see that's a demand zone. You don't need, you know what I mean? You can see this. I know I'm getting crazy with the writing, but you can see the demand zone there, right? And the scribbles are crazy today. I know. Someone's... But I mean, I just want to build your, so you can start seeing. So when I start a trade and you can see something, see, this is subconscious mind start to build this. You've seen it so many times when you really get into it. You've seen it so many times. So now you can see, okay, daily. Daily's starting to try to do a tweezer bottom. You don't have to touch this. One could front run this because there's been nothing else to trade recently. Trading's been tight. I have to be honest, right? So it's like you kind of have to be extra. That's the thing. Trading's been so tight, you have to be extra risky to pull off trades. Kind of have to get into these weird. So like right here, for me, like front running the tweezer bottom here is like there's some action here, possibly. It's a 2.7 to 3 I can squeeze out. There's a chance, but I got to front run the tweezer bottom. I can't wait for confirmation because there's a good chance at the end of the day we're up here, and by that time you only have this range. When you're caught in a range bound situation, see, look here, this is great. Remember we called the short at 107.7 on the right shoulder and it dropped, boom, continued to fall. I mean, that you're still in the money on that short. Technically, you could, some people are probably still got that short open. This shoulder, head, right shoulder too. Why? For me, I like to close. I've learned it's funner to take the money on the massive moves. Like when the fear was so high, like whenever I see the fear super high, that would be a great time to close. Like I would be closing shorts at fears at 10 and 11. I'd be closing longs when the fear's up at 89, 95. You know what I mean? Opening shorts at 11 is usually not the best idea. Again, I'd like to record myself saying this and see what happens. Look at Bitcoin with a nice breakout. That's a clean breakout. That's a clean breakout. Now you have resistance all day. Now you have some support to move on. So today is cool. All you have to do is say, okay, close the daily candle above 87.4. Show me some type of flag. You know what I mean? You've got a line in the sand now. You had resistance. since you lost it right here. Okay? Monday at 10 o'clock. Right when the show began. You know, we started our little nasty dumpage. We've been dumping all morning off that right shoulder. Kind of see. Got to make a name for that because it's a head and shoulder, but it's like, we got to, you know what? I call it the goblin. See? I call it the goblin, right? Drawing. A lot of drawings today. I think it's the caffeine from the coffee. But, you know, I call it the goblin. See? It's like, you know, or, you know what those things are? The gargoyle. So I like it. You know, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the inverse head and gargoyle. Yeah. So from now on, the inverse head and gargoyle, and this is what it is, because I've seen it so many times. You'll get this spiked high, you'll get it, or, you know, it's kind of an Adam and Eve with a kicker. It's an Adam and Eve with a kicker on the side. Inverted cup and handle as well, as you can see that. Right? See, there's the cup and the handle put to the upside. Anyway. So that will forever be known as that, right? Bro, it's a cup and handle at the 5 minute. Thank you. Look, this thing is absolutely launching now, and there's my signal. On a Tuesday morning, too, my favorite time to trade. And I don't got a trade open. It's like, I was this close over here, this close to opening up a trade. I swear I had one open. What happened over here? So and now we're crossing, wow, we're crossing the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame with the 21 not too far away. That's a very bullish signal. And that, again, see this zone here? See how easily we moved? Like, that tells you, look at, see the gap of the VRVP? That's the, you want to be entering and exiting through the gap. That's why we're using the VRVP. We're going up here to the indicator. We're going to type in VRVP. Okay? The visible range volume profile. We're going to click on that. Yours is going to look a little different than mine. It's going to be like pink and like this, and it's going to be chunky. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the indicator itself, hit this, and just put a 0 on the 24. That's just going to make yours look just like mine. You can change the colors if you want, but it won't matter. You're okay. And nice pump for Bitcoin. Shout out to anyone that took the call. You know, you can see this is what we do here on the channel. Wow. Just beautiful move there. Beautiful move. So the daily to me is struggling, but it's showing signs of a possible bounce here today. All right. Like, look at that. I mean, you could say it's already up there from just front running the tweezer bottom. That closes bullish today, too. That could close a bullish engulfing candle. We'll see. You know, it could start to dump in 2 seconds. We'll see. But this is, I like this 87.9 back to $88,000 level. And I look at the 12-hour, the 22. They're both very oversold. It technically dug in for a higher low. You could say kind of a double bottom there. Yeah, right? It's just like, for whatever reason, we couldn't break this low there at 85. Sorry, was that the 10-hour? So funny. Yeah, so this looks like almost, I mean, it's almost, yeah, it's like a double bottom almost perfectly there on the 12-hour time frame. 8-hour, a higher low. Bullish engulfing candle on the 8. That's a massive move up. That's a short squeeze on low volume after just, you know, indecisiveness. And to me, like, what I like about the news today, like the news that we looked at that came in, it puts pressure for the Fed to cut rates, but says that there's still money to put into the market. Isn't that interesting? Because if they're spending, so it's very bullish. It's very bullish. And then quantitative easing on top of that. For me, I feel like it's bullish for risk on assets. All right. And you want to be looking at the gold trade. You want to be looking, gold absolutely ripping now with Bitcoin, Tesla, gold, and Bitcoin. That's what you want to see. And look at this trade. I mean, it's the 21 touching above the 200. This is my exact, you know, we waited for the right shoulder. I was talking too long with my top-down analysis. But dang, I mean, it would have been a beautiful live trade there. One of the best ever, right? Just ripping. And I don't see how that doesn't go to the target because it's got such a nice, fast move back to the upside. And I've seen this many, many times. So you're looking at 89. You know, there's a chance we get a flag in the middle here on the 5-minute time frame. It may not go all the way up, but there's a chance it just rips. So nice little catch there to the upside for Bitcoin on the morning. So I'm zooming in now to the 4-hour time frame. So if you could see, Bitcoin is like attempting this higher low. You could say it's like, okay, this is the trend line. It's digging in. I guess, to me, it's just a bear flag waiting for more chop. But it's technically a higher low. And the stock market, they would, you know, and again, this thing could still dump horribly. I don't really buy any of this. You've got to cross the 200 moving average on the 4-hour. The 21 has to cross above that, and then and only then would I even consider, and hopefully, so if you got above 94 and got above that, then you've got this gap, right? There is that beautiful gap waiting still back at 101. What if Bitcoin somehow got above 100K by the end of the year? Let's take a look at what people think here. Longer time to hit 200, so 62% of the people think the same, you know. Interesting. And not everyone saw that. So the polls, you know. Remember, we got the poll cooking if you want to jump on in there. So gold ripping, Bitcoin ripping, gold at 43.20. The gold trade we gave you still in demand there on that daily time frame. Looking very bullish. So could we just go back to the top of the range? We very well may. Look here at the 4-hour. This is what you need. You need this to be a left shoulder, this to be a head, and this to be a right shoulder, and to move back to the upside. You need to break this 200 moving average. A cup and handle here could do the move, right? And again, still then you'll just get back to 94K and could get rejected back down again, which is crazy, right? But this is something that could be brewing here for Bitcoin, for sure. I'd be taking profits as quick as possible in times like these, days after Fed Day, or the week after Fed Day on a low volume, December for sure. But everyone's going to do what they're going to do. Nice reversal too. So again, the same idea like last night. I said to my students, I said, or the tweezer, wait for a tweezer bottom on the 4-hour. Now the first one, if you put the stop below there, you actually stayed in the game. And I like to use the lowest one if I can. But then if you waited and you got lucky on the second one, it's even better, right? And that's what I've been doing too. I just wait for a tweezer bottom on the bigger time frame now. Because they've been going after people on the smaller time frames. People aren't even patient enough to do that. It's such a simple trade, but people aren't even patient enough to do that. The 4-hour candle just closed. Another bullish candle, everyone. 1, 2, 3 green candles in a row. Let's see what happens here. Let's zoom on in. Let's see that. Yeah, 2-hour doesn't look amazing. Previous resistance, that's support, so that's gonna be resistance. You see that? You bounce there, you wick there, you bounce there. So people are gonna come and take some profits there at about 88,200. Makes sense. Again, the 200 moving average with the 15-minute time frame. So beautiful. We got the move, right? We got a bit of a short squeeze on lower volume. You don't want to celebrate this too much as a bull, right? What you want to do is you want to be watching the 5-minute time frame. Two things are going to happen. Or three things. I mean, we uncontrollably rip to the upside out of nowhere and go on some massive tear. We saw that like a couple weeks ago, and I kept being like, this is unsustainable, and it was. Eventually, it did come back. Or we dump hard back to support, or we go sideways. So look, we dump back to support, we know, okay, chances are good, we know that it's all whatever. We go sideways, it just starts to tell the story. Why didn't we come back to support strong? Because there's stronger buy pressure even behind that, right? They wanted to bring it down, couldn't. Why? Because there's even more buy pressure behind that. You see? Tightness. 21 comes. So you want to kind of set the trap of the 5-minute time frame. So today we can already see that the 5-minute gives us the key. The doorway in, right? It's, you never know what time frame it is, but right now the 5-minute, it broke above the 200 on the, so let's talk about the story. So we were below on the low. It made a bit of a double bottom here. You can see it. 1, 2. As hard as it is to see, and someone said reverse cat ears. Yeah, kind of similar to reverse cat ears, right? And then the cat ears come down. I mean, it's interesting. And you had a double top there at about 85,000. right? So it's almost like, okay, how many more people can we liquidate? And that's another good thing about lower volume too. As low as it is, it's just like, well, how much lower can you go? If it's low volume, then how much more people can you liquidate? Some say it's cascading of bots, and the bots, what do you think of this? And it's rumored too. But, it's circulating in my mind. Kind of don't want to say it because it creates it. But I guess I'll talk about it. People are talking about the fact that bots, they see signals and begin to sell. And one bot will sell, another bot will sell. And so, like, as great as AI is, it could create, like, a massive sell-off, too. You see what I mean? Where it's, like, uncontrollable. You say, no, eventually a bot will get smart enough to buy back the low. But when will it know, It's just an interesting concept. Or will bots all be so programmed, just like humans, that eventually there'll be a little shakeout, but eventually the market will come back to where it was? It's kind of like, you used to fight with, bows and arrows. Then the guns came, then everyone had guns. For a while it was off and back and forth. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like each time you add more power, there's an offset of balance, but eventually it gets balanced out again till you add more power, right? Sammy, can you talk a little bit about supply shock, please? Well, Bitcoin is getting lesser and lesser in supply. And every time we have a halving, people say it puts a less in effect because it's less than it used to be comparatively to where we used to be. So it almost has a nil effect. But you have to remember that it also has more demand. And when Bitcoin's price goes down and the supply starts going out, we haven't seen that before. We haven't seen Bitcoin try to, and that's another reason why we may have different cycle top bottoms now. Because every time Bitcoin gets lower, the supply is less, but the demand is higher. Interesting, right? It's just a key concept to think about that does add, right? So we want to see Bitcoin make a flag. We don't know how. You don't want to see it just come right back down and blow through this support. If it does that, then it was whatever's, right? You could always say, is it trying to make, if I say, no, that was it. And that was the flag. It was a beautiful ascending triangle. And it's funny, if you get that today, the move from here to here, like that, I would never be greedy about that. Entering at 87, out at 88.1, like $1,000 move. Beautiful. Beautiful. Like, yeah, I usually can procure between $800 and $1,100 out of a $1,000 move for Bitcoin. So that's the key. And only have to use between like 700 and like, $3,000 depending. So look, this is cool. This is starting to make a flag that I'm looking at. I like what I'm seeing here for BTC. So what I do is I get a little giddy. Just a little bit, not too happy, but a little giddy for the possibility of the signal to play out. So here we go. We look at the support and resistance that was made. And I also have to be like, okay, maybe nothing. We make both ideas here and just keep them out here in case. And then we plan wick to wick, which would be most of the move there. And that brings us back to the 9s. I would love if the 8 turned back to a 9, right? That's all we need, just to fight off the bears for a little bit. Every time the 8 turns to a 9, the bears get shook. The bulls feel a little bit better. It's almost like a warm cookie. Like, the market is a cookie that's been baked a couple days ago. It's sitting on the counter. I guess I'm thinking about cookies, right? I wonder why. So, Cookie Monster. My kids like to watch Cookie Monster. So, but the whole point is then you bake that cookie and it's like, oh, wow, right? And you just feel so much better about that cookie, don't you? That's how I feel about 90K. 90K is like a nice warm baked chocolate chip cookie. 89K is like, it's 4 days, 5 days old. It's brittle. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. I want nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like price action, right? But man, you get back above 90K, it's like a massage on Sunday, man. It's like, please, thank you so much. I'll take it, right? And, below 90K is like dropping concrete on my foot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a good trade. I mean, I feel like all of December should be lower risk trading. But like 150 for 739 would be pretty sweet on a move like that today. And I could be missing the point. It might be right now on the previous support as resistance. But I really don't trust this low volume. So I got the trade set up. I can come back to it another time. I know I'm going to risk 155 for 739. I know I'm going to use 47. And I know the margin is going to be... Let me see. I always have this, so it will just tell me. The margin is going to be 582. So it's going to be $27,000. You know what I mean? Like, it's all there for me. I can see the liquidation too as well, which is going to be 86. My stop loss is at 87,248. Well, $1,200 away. So everything is the way it should be. All right. That box is so important to me. If I didn't use that box, I think so many of my trades would not have gone well. That's the confirmation window. Very important. You add that in the settings bar. Say confirmation window. Confirm. Anyway, I love that. And it may slow down the trade a little bit. I get it. But for me, if you don't have time to look at the trade and you're pushing everything really, really fast, then you know what I mean? In my humble opinion, you shouldn't be trading anyway. You know what I mean? Like, now it's different when I see something that I know is good. Like I've come in. I remember my kid had swimming. I came home from swimming one day and I don't do that anymore because the pool was too hot. It's gross. But, you know, just teach them in the ocean, man. They'll figure it out over time. Just throw them in there. No, but you know what I'm saying. I think I never, anyway, I'll get into it another time. My whole point is I came home and I saw my model and I was able to make the trade within, I don't know, let's say a minute and a half of looking at the screens. That's why I always keep my computer open right here like this. If I go somewhere, it's ready to go. So right when I come in, I have my trading, you know what I mean? And I have a stand-up desk. You know, a sit-down desk, you walk into the office, you see the chair sitting down, you have to think about moving the chair and sitting down. It's already a thought. A stand-up desk, I have the door open right here, and it's kind of like open to the living room. So when I come in or I'm walking by, I just waltz in and I just can like, it's good and bad. I get sucked in quickly, you know, into the charts a lot. But it makes it very simple. Think about it. I don't have to think about pulling out the chair. I don't have to think, I'm not sitting down. It's, you know, I just walk out in front. It's kind of seamless. Like so the stand-up desk makes it, I think it adds, it makes it easier to, I think it makes it less difficult to stay on the charts, personally. Because any thought we have is a waste of time. I started getting really efficient with every single thought in my day. And there's thoughts I just don't need to have. They're a waste of time. And that's why people hire people too. That's why CEOs hire people, so they can think of other things. So that I don't have to have those thoughts. You know, I can focus on what I need to do. They can focus on what they need to do, and the company can work really smooth. So we're looking for the same signal here that we just found. We want to see the 21 catch up with price. There's a chance that it runs on us, and that we should have entered right there on the bounce because there was some good wicking there. On a really high volume day, I'd be all over that. But today, let me be patient. And again, to have patience is to know that you might miss the trade. It might run on me. It might run so hard I can't. That's okay. I'll wait. But it might dump on me and make a right shoulder. Look, this might be shoulders, head, and right shoulders. And this might all she wrote today. Okay? Could be kind of a diamond effect here, and you came in from the bottom. I mean, I'm open-minded. Show me what I'm looking for, and I'll take the trade. Quantum projection theory. Quantum because it's like we don't know what can happen, but let's give it two options in life because it's just like the double split theory. Are you going to make it, you know what I mean? Are you going to turn into a wave or a particle? You see what I'm saying? Once we observe you, the wave turns into a particle. How is that possible? How does it know I'm watching it? I don't know. Because you become part of reality inside of its own self. Quantum theory, right? The double split theory, if we all know what I'm talking about. Who knows what I'm talking about? And again, it's very basic. It's like it can go so much deeper than that. But that's just how we open the door. Open the slit, so to speak. We open the door. We open the, just the little opening in the door there for the beginning of what quantum is. Does anyone know what the double split theory is? I'm not going to sit here and explain it, so don't worry. I'm not going to get into it if people don't know. They can Google it and they can watch a video about it after the show. 100% somebody says yes. Okay. And have a notebook during the stream. Write things down because you don't want to leave the stream. You might miss the next thing we're going to talk about. Yeah. Okay, I'm done for the day. God bless you all. It was quantum theory? Is that what got him? Oh no. So anyway, we're gonna want to see this thing turn into a bit of a flag here before I enter the trade. And so today it's very important that we stay back above 87.5, 87.400. You see this and use that as support. If you lose that, it's just kind of like it was a fake move that really amounted to nothing. And so again, you watch price action here on that 5-minute time frame coming right back down. So you're going to be very careful on low. Today is like trading a Saturday in a way, and the rest of the month is going to be lower volume. People are starting to take time off. They're taking their kids on trips to Saint-Tropez and all this. You know what I mean? The big boys that run the market, the liquidity that comes in and out. Those people aren't, you know what I mean? This is the end of the year. Remember that. Like, we've been battling the markets for months now. This is that last period of time. This is where we get ready where we get ready. Doesn't mean there's not money to be had. Look, I'm still setting up for a possibility of this thing making the flag. I'm not giving up. I want to make that clear. But I'm just mindful that the trades could be a little smaller, mindful that the liquidity is a little lower, mindful that it's not the hottest time of the year. It could create some good volatility. Lately, Bitcoin's been moving on the order book. And lately, we've been actually hitting the model is what I'm saying. The model just played out there. 5-minute flag to the up. See, when you're in the 5-minute flag, all you're going for is the measured move, which is basically the length of this pole, and you got the flag right here. And you don't be greedy for a day's pay. That's beautiful right there. Yeah. January, February should be interesting. It's definitely setting up for a time you don't want to miss. I wouldn't want to not pay attention to the crypto market in January and February because of all we went through. It just shows there's got to be price action beginning to build. You see what I'm saying? So I'm definitely excited for what could happen. And I know there's opportunity to be had. There's just always opportunity out here for people that pay attention and people that keep pushing. It's the people that give up on themselves, the people that don't believe, the people that just think, can't see, are just too full of so much doubt that they believe there's just no opportunity. And what happens is they actually crush the ability to have opportunity in their lives. It's kind of a backwards motion, right? So could you tell us more about your experience with Caspa? I just like Caspa. It was proof of work. We got in below a penny, watched it grow all the way to about almost 18, 20 cents. So we watched it over 20x. One of the most beautiful projects. And so a lot of people that got in early did a 20x too. So if you watch me, you 20x Caspa. And I know many people that did take profit. I remember my man sold one day. He was like, dude, I'm out. At 18, 19, 17. It was oversold too. And the things that I teach, above the 200 moving average, away on the 3-day, and just very high. So yeah. Happy birthday to Javier Gonzalez. God bless you. Can't wait. So we're watching the 21-day moving average. We're watching price action. We want to see if this thing could bounce and get sideways here for BTC. All right. Let's take a look. And now we got people saying, let's talk to you, the crowd. Shout out to you, everyone out there. Thank you for being here. This is a chance where you can talk. I'm looking at the chat here. Tell us about your coins. Send in a super chat. Say, hey, what's up? Like this man said, International Street Family with the 199. Thanks for the amazing trading group, boss. God bless you. Before Benga. We love you. For us poor bleep students who can't hit big, even $50, give us 4 USD. What size free tools to use or just to study? Yeah, the moving averages are so important, Even if you give us 4 USD, what size free tools? I don't know exactly what you're saying, but I believe, I just say come to the stream every day. I'm talking about what we do every single day. I'm showing you support or resistance. I'm showing you moving averages. I'm showing you how important the 21 and the 200 are, how the shapes play out. Okay? And the timing of your trades is so important. Like, say someone didn't trade all year and they said, I'm going to make all my money the last 2 weeks of the year. I mean, it's possible. These things are possible, but the odds are low. You see? That would be like saying, I'm going to catch all the awesome waves in this 2 week period. Like, no, like you surf, you surf at the best times, you take the season in, and you find, eventually you come in, oh, that day was really good. There was one day better than the other. Surfing and trading are very similar. Very, very similar. I find them also identical in many ways. And surfing, you don't force the waves. You wait for the waves to come to you. Same thing in trading. And surfing, you set up for what you've known before, and you can feel the wave if it's similar to the last one. And then when one's like, oh, that one reminds me of those. And then and through your time of catching waves, you're able to catch better waves. Through your time of catching trades, you're able to catch better trades. This is so true. I've done both in my life. Trading way more consistently than surfing, because I only surfed on and off throughout the year sparingly. But I definitely body surf every single time I hit, which is a little different, but I feel the waves. I'm always in tune with the waves, in tune with the water. So you could feel that. And trading should be the same. You don't want to be forcing trades. Just patiently waiting for this flag. Now, this could easily not go our way. We don't know what's going to happen. We just patiently wait. Look at this, And at any moment, maybe this thing just spikes all the way to the upside. That could happen too. I've seen it. It's okay. And I pick my time frame and I stick to it and I just wait patiently. And I'd like, it's likely going to be a little smaller than that on the 5 minute. And I don't know for sure if I'm able to make the trade, but I have it set up still waiting. And I can see, okay, 146 for 740. That's a great trade. Right now, those odds are nice right now. I like those odds. You do that every day. I mean, that's, and I win 3 out of 10 of those. That's going to be an awesome risk to reward. Yeah, so looking for more sideways price action before we get the bounce here for BTC. I'm going to show you something very, very interesting, okay? Very interesting. This is something that got taught to me years ago. Shh, don't tell anyone about this, okay? There's less than 1,500 people here, so I do these secrets, the secret sauce here. All right, well, don't tell anyone about this. Don't tell your friends. Let's see if this works here. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to the watchers, everyone. I'm about to show you something very interesting. Let's go to BTCUSD on Coinbase, okay? Let's go to this indicator here. Open my template. Let's go to Coinfield Way here. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Yeah. So check this out. This is very interesting. Okay. So this is the 1 hour time frame for BTC. Okay. Let me see the 4 hour. Even better, yeah. So this works very similar to the 21. Okay. But all I'm using is the SMA, the 200, which we're calling this cayenne color, the EMA, which we're calling this red, and the SMA 50, which is blue. You can see what happens whenever they get close and the 50 starts to cross. It creates a very, again, it's tight moving average. Same idea, but it's just a simpler way to see it. 4 hour time frame. See right here too, when the 50 crosses, price action gets jumbled. We hit those two levels. And then again, it's about the cayenne, right? Staying, like, getting low, right? And then you can see bearishness is the same thing, but basically I like this as a bullish signal. So when you cross the 50, and specifically, look, I believe the 1 hour time frame is going to create these bigger movements. And I've seen this on many assets too. But look at this big move for Bitcoin. It starts when you cross that 50-day moving average right here. Comes up, boom, and it really creates a big catalyst. Here, when we cross, you can see that it shows the beginning of massive moves right here. Tightness. And you can look at this on like the Dow Jones Industrial, right? The DOJ, the Dow. Like here, look, the Dow. How I figured out Bitcoin's bottom, I use the Dow Jones a lot because the Dow Jones was the biggest asset I could find that had so much truth to it. So I could slap indicators on them and see. So like same thing here, like when they jumbled and you crossed, you could see the beginning of a bigger move, beginner of a move here, big move right here. And the first thing that happens is see you get this space. When they get tight again, right there is the real entry. Anyway, it's an interesting concept to think about. Okay. Something that I've been looking at for years on and off. So Bitcoin looking like we're getting into the flag. Getting tight now. You want to look at the 1 hour, the 1 minute. 1 minute could be treachery right now. It looks more confusing than the 5. Hey, it might even pump right now out of nowhere and I might miss out. It might be this little flag. I've seen it. It doesn't, just because I have this cool little model doesn't mean I'm 100% on it. I just want to make that clear. I just have enough gall and enough, guts, I guess, to show my model every day. I don't know how many people would do that. Sometimes I feel bad about it because people just steal it, take it, say it's theirs. Who knows what people will do? There's treachery out here every day, but I believe in God. I push myself every day just to be a good person, and I don't focus on the negative things that could or could not happen. They're out of my control as much as they are, and I tell you the same thing. Being out here on YouTube, most things are out of my control. There's nothing we can or cannot do, all right? Well, we can't do everything, right? We can do as much as we can. Let's take a look at the total market cap for Bitcoin. Let's jump on into coin market cap, see what's happening in the last hour. So look, Pippin, we talked about that. It did lose a lot of its gains though. See, look, it was up and then it was right back down. So the hottest thing we saw really turned into nil. Okay. So it wasn't absolutely amazing. And then I always look at crypto bubbles too, just to kind of see what's happening, folks. That was playing games, but not amazing. Kita had a little bit of love. I actually like Kita as a project overall, but Form up 29%. But for the most part, you can see it's just a sea of red in the last day. Last week, Jelly still playing. It has liquidity. People like to go in and out. Jelly has some love to it. Funny, I met the guy who created it on a iPhone call when I was in Lisbon with Nas Daily. He says his buddy had created it just completely accidentally. It was just like, didn't even know what was going to happen to it. It was a complete, kind of a joke that turned into something. And he was saying, everyone thinks it's, it's funny. And he got on a call to tell us it was really organic. I had no idea what I even did. Next thing you know, Jelly was doing something. It was funny. The crypto bros were on to him. He was like, no. So that's kind of a, where we stand there. There's not a lot of altcoins that are just like, oh my gosh, let me run on into that altcoin. You know what I mean? What's going on there with my view? Okay, wow, this is looking pretty bullish. I'm getting that FOMO feeling like I'm going to miss out on a pump here for Bitcoin, and they're going to take off without me. Every time you feel that way, though, they get you too. So, but I'm feeling a short squeeze coming right now on low volume. It's looking interesting. Let's take a look at Bookmap. Link to Bookmap in the descripciones. If you want to get in, I do get commission for it. Jump on in. Look, this is new. 97.7, 97.5. This is new. This was at 95,000. So this has moved up a little bit. For whatever reason, the liquidity at 95K has moved up. And we have some $89,000 liquidity today now. Look at this. So I just got to show you, this was 95 deep red. Now it's 97. So for whatever reason, a whale, moved their stop up a bit. Maybe they think they're going to be challenged and they're going to be safer up there. Whenever shorts start moving their stops up, they're dragging the price up. It's kind of like when longs move their stops down, they kind of drag the price down. I got to tell you, that's interesting. Just something to be aware of. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. We still have this red here. You look, and even when I zoom in, the deepest red still is at 83.8. So we're not out the water yet. And 84,000 still says, hey, I'd like to touch 84K. But hey, this is a nice little surge at 87.9. Beautiful pump here for Bitcoin. And ever since that right shoulder there, and that signal is still paying out. So again, maybe it's going to be a higher flag, and maybe we don't flag at all. Again, like I told you, I may miss out. That's and every strategy should have like a really strong side, a weak side, and then a side where it just keeps you from chasing. That's all. Could we take a quick peek at Google? S'il vous plaît. Oh, wow. I was able to actually read the French. That's amazing. Let's take a look at Google. Yeah. I still want to see that flag there. Alphabet, baby. Alphabet. Let's take a look at Alphabet on the weekly. Another good chart to look at over time. So look at this thing. I mean, this thing is the chart that never stops, right? If you were in Google since 2013, you were just dominating the game. $15, it's up 20x. A little more, actually, about a 21.3, right? Because 15 would be 10x at 150, would be 20x at 300. And that it would actually know right now. So yeah, you're sitting on about a 20x right now from, in about 12 years. That ain't bad, right? That's about a 2x a year, a little under that, right? I mean, it tweezer top there, okay, on the weekly. It's a little high. Let me get back to my regular. I'm about to say I need to see my regular sauce here. Yeah, very far away from the 21-day moving average on the 5-day chart. I mean, and just a very strong bear div here. And you got into to me, it's overvalued at this point for whatever reason. I think what happened is people, I actually figured out what happened. Check this out. This is awesome. You had regular investors that constantly buy Google no matter what, because it's you know what I mean? It's a top investment. Like if you just talk to anyone that's just in the game, oh, I just bought a little more Google. Should have bought Google on the low, It was 139 on the dip and all this stuff. So, and again, every October it gets super low, like February, December right here, there's, lows, but March, April, 20 of that dip. Where's October here? Just say, right there, November, September, right there, there's usually a dip. September into October, September 12th, 19th, and then you get the ripski into December and January, right? Came back down, April. You had a beautiful, it's just been out of control. But look, there you have the little dip. October is the time to buy the dip, and that was your last chance at the lows, and boom, yeah. Just, and I've shown this before anyway. The point is, you had regular investors buying Google all the time. All right. So no matter what, the stock was going to have a threshold of buyers every time it took a bit of a dip because there's people regularly buying it. Then when people jump in and they're new and their grandmama gives them some money and they're, part of some big rich family, buy some Google stocks. So like maybe these kids, the first thing they do is buy a little bit of Google. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. And then you had everyone thinking Google's the heart of AI. And then you had it pumping to the upside. Now you say, but it's the S&P. The S&P looks bullish. It does, but Google had so much buy pressure on it for so long. And look, it's very overbought now on the 5-day. It's very overbought on the weekly. And even the daily looks like, right? It's like, so if it's bullish, it'll bounce with the S&P and somehow make a flag. But in my humble opinion, I feel like it's just going to slowly trend lower. I feel like it has some time to cool off, personally. I'd like to see the 3-day come back to the 21. The fact that the 3-day is not that far away from the 21 and here too, I'd pull a Fibonacci. And I'd say somewhere around 269, 280, I believe would be a fair price for Google. To me, it's just a little overpriced right now. Compared to my indicators, it's just way, it's just in the premium. It's definitely not in the discount, which tells me to be be very careful. Nice, man. We're starting to get what could be the flag of a lifetime here. You never know, man. Any trade could be the trade of a lifetime. That's what's crazy. That's why I do what I do. I teach people all the time. And any day could be the day someone uses my strategies to make the best trade of their entire life. Any day. Tomorrow could be the trade someone makes a trade that changes their whole life. Today could be the trade. I never know what day someone could use the knowledge to make the best trade of their life. So I believe in the opportunity and the education. I love showing you how this plays out with the moving averages. I love showing you how, you got to use more than one thing. We're using support and resistance right now. Right, because we had resistance. We came back to support. We want to stay above this and make the flag. This is actually a nice place to go. Now you have multiple candles supporting. Now, the stop loss isn't below the 200 moving average, which tells me to be a little careful. And the 21 hasn't touched just yet, but it looks very likely. It definitely is drawing me in to want to enter right now. On a really bullish day, I'd enter right now. I'm a little hesitant because of the volume today, but on a very like, I'd be like, wow, I like that right now. Even that red candle. Red is way better than green. Grayscale saying end of the 4-year cycle and an all-time high is coming. See, that's what people will keep saying, you know, and it may be in their interest to say that. Okay. Check MSOS. Is that Microsoft? Yes, right. Advisor shares. Oh, what a move, right? And funny, I looked at this double bottom. I don't know when I looked at that recently, but I don't know if we called that or not, but it's interesting. So let's take a look here at BTC, at MSOS. You know, when something's this far away from the 200 moving average on the low, it's usually in the discount. So that's the first thing. 5 hour looks the same, 5 day, 3 day, just approaching. The daily's back above the 200 moving average, right? So it's like, see, this is the Bitcoin's in this like bearish time. See, this lost to 200 here in July of 2024. It didn't get back until a year later in August of 2025. Back above what? Back above the 200 moving average on the daily. You know, that's when things start to begin. And also, but if it's in a massive downtrend, it could even just, you know, you see this? So you have bouncing, you have a bounce there, a bounce there. You can tell why there's resistance right there. You are in the middle of a gap, though, suggests you could get to the top at the POC. But look how far the 21 is. So I'd be putting my support or resistance in. Hey, look, resistance, two of those shoulders. Kind of hit the wick there. I don't know, I'm getting some mixed signals. I can't stand the gaps in the stock market. It's so messy. And look, it just retested the 21. You know, if it didn't have the gap, it would have looked like one of, you know, but the stochastics were, I guess you were kind of getting low and you got the curve back to the upside. I don't know, hard to tell. The information is I don't know. Kind of looks like it moved with Bitcoin a little bit, right? I don't like the price action on this at all, but possibly it breaks out here out of the 5-minute chart. I don't know if they have Bitcoin. Looks like it's moving with BTC. All I can say is that small time frame looks interesting. It's a little messy on the bigger time frames, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I would love it if it's the end of, that would be great. End of the 4-year cycle and we turn into something amazing. I mean, I would love it. Trust me, man. You know, I'm from the outside looking in. I bought Bitcoin so early that I'm just sitting here waiting and waiting to see what could happen over time, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm just waiting to see what could happen over time. And that's it. Like, that's all I'm doing. As long as I stay calm, cool, and collected, don't compare myself to anybody, take a deep breath and say, dear Lord, thank you for every moment. Stay in the present, begin to build and keep building. Then everything will go the way it's supposed to go and just keep adding. And I can't stop, right? Every year's got to be more progression. There's got to be something I'm adding, something I'm doing to just, you know, to make it better or put more effort in. So, and, you know, the market, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God, you know, and God, but it all works together to curate energy. When you keep putting energy into the same thing, it compounds over time. All right? Every time you add to the same thing, it compounds. I used to work the night shift for a company and I used to go there for 5-6 years. And after 6 years, I said, man, I put in so much effort. I made so many shows. I was like, imagine if I had put this effort into my own company. I said, I'd still have the energy that I put in. See, I started learning about energy, time, and space. And that's when I really realized, like it hit me one day. I was sitting alone and I was like, oh my God, I got an energy stack. I said, if I stack my energy, it'll compound. You know, Bitcoin taught me this too, because when I put money into Bitcoin, it compounded the win. I made $5 back in 2017. I put it in BTC. It's so much more than $5 now. It's $5 times 80. Or it's 87 times more. So the $5 I put in back then times 87 is $435. Now, back then too, with inflation, that $5 is probably like It's got to be $1.75, man. I wouldn't be surprised with how much, you know what I mean? Let's think about it. Back in 2017. So you turn something that could have been, fine, if there was no inflation and price stayed the same, which we know that's not true, you'd still have $5 if you just put it in your bank account. And I was telling people this. I said, this is money. And again, imagine if you $435 for every $5. It's just, you know what I mean? And so every time I saved money, it paid me 87 times my, still to this day, it's paid. So the money I've saved, dang near 9 years ago now, is still paying me back 87 times on my money. That's the glory of BTC. And I explain this to people all the time, and I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice, but I explain this all the time to people about the slow roll for BTC. A lot of people look back. They took all these shots on altcoins. They did all these crazy things. Some of them 100x. Some of them made tons of money left, but then they went back in and lost it the same way that they made it, the fast way. Bitcoin, for me, you make money the long way. You got to watch it grow over time. It's boring. It's not the funnest thing in the world to DCA into an asset over time. It's not how people want to make money. They want to make money the fast way. They want to Forex themselves and trade themselves, you know what I mean? But there's always smoke and mirrors. There's always a story behind the story. Remember that. And even if there isn't, and it's a real story, your story will never be someone else's story. You have your own unique way, your own unique path that you will follow. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie pie. Come here, give me a hug, sweetie. Give me a hug. She can give me a hug. Give me a hug. All right, no, all right. Come here. Come here. It's okay. Give me a hug. Quick. Quick. I love you. All right. All right. She loves to play. Look at her now. She wants to sit. My little baby, man. She won't give you what you want because then she's got you, right? If you get what you want, then she's like, oh, she's smart. She knows that daddy's usually busy. If he tries to get what you want, I gotta dangle what he wants. So he ain't gonna get the kiss just yet. You know what I mean? So someone says grayscale, end of the 4-year cycle. I mean, that's an interesting concept. I'd love that. Like, we can repeat all the bullish things and just kind of like go on hopium, and that's awesome. But we don't know if that's really true, right? So look, there's the 21. You want to be bouncing off the 21. See how we used it here? 1, 2, 3, many times. It kind of was our hammock. The 21-day moving average caressed us so slightly, so sweetly. See, look, that's an M. You see that's an M? That's a double top. You've got resistance at 88,000. It's, it basically said, hey, 88,000 resistance now. A lot of people probably got in right there, or they thought it was going to keep pumping. They got in right there. I almost did. I had FOMO there, but I had to stay calm. I had to remind myself, that we have data in on Thursday. It's going to be a slow week because it's pre-Christmas. Look, we got, 9 days to Christmas? I mean, come on now. People are making appointments to go see family and friends. People are shopping. Nobody cares about cryptocurrency right now. Not as many people as normal, right? They've taken what they could. They've licked their wounds. And then yet, like someone said, there's tax loss harvesting as well. So you have people saying, hey, well, I might as well sell this so I can put it on the books. Some buy back, some don't. Some people say they're going to buy back and probably forget. It just, all this stuff happens, man. So to me, I wouldn't be going extra hard the last 2 weeks of the year. I'd just be taking it easy. There may be a beautiful trade coming our way. I'm going to stay open-minded and always scan the market. You see what I mean? We don't know. Remember the other day, Advantis and Astra came out of nowhere on a weekend and it ended up being a great, and they said they were going to pump. They were on the 21, the signal showed. It didn't, I was just scanning the market and I was like, wow, these look interesting compared to the rest of the market. And so be it. We got the move. But it doesn't mean that the move's going to happen like that every time, right? Yeah. But if I wasn't open-minded, I would have missed it. So I'm always amazed when that stuff happens. Okay? I'm always amazed. Funny, I keep looking at this, AVAIL. AVAIL launches the Nexus mainnet. Let's take a look at AVAIL for a split second. It probably doesn't look amazing. It probably looks horrible compared to the rest of the market. Look at that. We didn't get the love. You never know what could happen there. Let's look at AVAIL. And you got to add that USDT, otherwise you'll get some random nonsense there. And let's look here. I'm just curious, the whole Matic team left. Or not, I don't want to say the whole Matic team, but a lot of people did. So AVAIL really, just like every coin, just too speculative and just all the way down in the dumb peasy. Looks like it's going nowhere to nowheresville and nowheresville fast. Yikes. AVAIL. So yeah, not amazing at all. Not amazing at all. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't looked at it in a long time. See, again, wah, 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 wah. Someone say, oh, that's amazing. The mainnet's coming out. Awesome. I'm going to jump in on that. Yeah. And then the insiders took what they could out of the last little bit. It's like, you know what I mean? That's what it looks like. All right. If you're just jumping on in, the fear is back at 11. I mean, that's a beautiful place to accumulate BTC. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but in my lifetime, just comparatively, it's always been a pretty interesting place, and it's always prevailed to be an amazing buy zone. And again, maybe we go to 67,000. This is the beginning, but I don't know, right? And everyone's saying that the December's rate decision for Japan could crash Bitcoin because it's cheaper prices. I think that's kind of priced in. I think most people know this already. I think the Japan carry trade actually crashed the market months ago. I think people already knew that their rate, that they was going to do this. Their economy is kind of, so they're raising the rates. It's going to be tight. But again, it's that same narrative people keep repeating. And usually once people start repeating the narrative, it's kind of baked in a little bit. I'm not saying 100%, but, and so everyone says that the rate risk changes liquidity. But you have to remember that every time you close a door for Bitcoin, another door opens, So that also means that money won't go somewhere where it used to go. And then where can it go? Maybe it goes into gold, but then gold has a spike. And then where does the gold money go into? There's still a lot of money on the sidelines right now. So, exactly, right? It's funny. Sailor now owns 3% of the supply. He says the Bitcoin hoarding will continue until the complaining stops. I love it. It's so funny. You got to absolutely love it. Dude's funny. So, yeah, he continues to buy BTC with no stress. And a lot of people speculate on what could happen and what he's doing and how he could go bankrupt and how he's going to get pinched by the banks and the banks want to short him. I just think it's like more complicated than all of us realize. And even if I sat here and explained it all the best of my nature, I'd probably be missing some intricate part of how he positioned his debt. Again, we might make a beautiful inverted head and shoulder here. I love how they label this stuff, right? Left shoulder, head. It's just so perfecto. If you want to get the shade perfect, you got to get these lines to be perfect, right? So you got to bring that like right there. And then when you click this, it'll all shade out. Boom, right? Maybe just move the whole thing into position. That's a little better. I'm not saying this is a guarantee. I just speculate and wait. You see? It's been that type of day. The overtrader gets buried. I just stay patient and wait. If it doesn't go my way, I move on to the next move. It's not the funnest thing to do, and it can get old and low volume. But it takes discipline. Over time, we win. We just sit and do the same thing over time. That's it. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. I want to take a look at total and see what's happening here. Can total get back above the 200? Look at total. Beautiful bounce there off of the 200. And look how it's kind of coming back to support here. And look, it kind of looks like it's going to make that move. And that looks like that you can kind of see the inverted head and shoulder there too. Funny, there's that like, just I call a local parabola there vibe there. That'd be so cool. I mean, remember, we still have to go after all this liquidity that we ate. Remember, whenever we go down fast, we usually come up fast. There's a gap in the VRVP here. There's a big node that we chuck through and we're coming back on. Hey, man, I like what I'm seeing here. Could be a silent bounce that, people don't realize. Again, we have to hold. I got it. So look, what we want to see is like a tweezer top on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, a tweezer bottom, above this level. Like you want to see this close now and then in 1 hour. You want to see this close above and then another one close right next to it. Yeah, the bigger time frames don't look amazing either, but that's a bounce, so you kind of have to get that bounce right, very soon. You lose that support, like I said, it just becomes a head and shoulder, right? You get this shoulder, and you're just, you fall right back down. You want to see this stick. So wow, in the next couple hours, it's going to kind of tell us what happens for the week. So you would expect an indecision doji right now as you fight, because it's like, whoa. So you could see how sometimes the smallest time frame, like the 5 minute, can lead you back to a liquidity zone that's really big on the daily or the 4 hour, you know what I mean? And people don't realize, I never realized how a small time frame can really affect the situation too. But as you begin to collect the data and you go from macro to micro and you keep crunching the numbers, you start seeing, wow. I remember when that 5 day got above that 200. That 5 minute got above, and then I saw that the daily used that same area. And then we got above a daily support or resistance, which will also coincided with a monthly or a weekly. And so keeping that weekly in the back of our minds all the time, always working on that area, on that idea, that can help us. And that can be kind of the sauce that we're looking for. So that's why using multiple time frames, I think, really gives you the edge. A lot of people, it takes a lot of time, right? I didn't want to use multiple time frames when I first started. It was too hard for me. It was tough, right? Another thing someone could do is you could delete everything here. Like I like to say, hide all the drawings. And there's support and resistance traders right now in right here, stop loss below like that wick or that wick. And just this resistance could be support. Nothing more than that. Very simple. Where are they headed to? Possibly this resistance or the measured move of the length of this pole. Simple stuff, right? Again, I don't claim to tell you what's going to happen for sure. I'm just showing you what we can look for and then how we can take advantage of it if it goes our way. If that makes any sense. I started realizing I was chasing too much. I was making trades all the time based off too much emotion, not off the logical chart. And I was just chasing a lot. And I had to start being like, okay, like that's a bullish retest. Previous resistance is the retest. Like that is if you trade bullish retests all the time, there's a good chance, I like right now. It's an interesting place to get in right now. I believe that's a good long right now. I'm going to trade the retest right now. I could be really wrong, but at least I'm taking something I've traded for years. I'm not doing whatever I want, and I'm using supporters resistance, and I have my stop below the wicks. I could easily get stopped out here too. I'm not over trading. We'll go from there, right? So I just made a live trade here at 1150. And again, don't do what you do on any live stream or any, I'm just a guy that this is my life. This is my life. This is a real reality. This is a reality TV show of my life. I'm here every single day just doing what I do. $582. Okay. You can see I have a stop loss and a take profit. I always have proper risk management. It's a 4.44 risk to reward ratio. I'm down $6. We'll see where this goes. There's no guarantees I'm going to win, no guarantees I'm going to lose. I'm just going to kind of trade the way I trade and see. But I like the fact that I'm trading the retest. See, total's also showing a similar idea here. This would be beautiful if I get to show the trading group today, Tuesday at 2:20 today? Yeah, that would be in 2.5 hours. Would that be 2 in the... No, yeah, Tuesday. Wow. 2 to 3 hours from now, there's a good chance that we've hit the target. 3 o'clock today. I can't wait to kind of check in and see what's going on. Can you look at ICNT? Thank you, Sam, from Sal Flowers. And shout out to everyone that just gave today. We have International Street Family with $1.99. We have B for Benga. Thanks for an amazing trading group, boss. Thank you. We have the Dark Fuhrer 6023. Thank you. God bless you, brother. I hope I gave you enough information today. I really opened it up. Mythos 360. Can we pick a Google? We did. S'il vous plaît. I hope you're happy, man. Yeah. Check MSOS. I believe we looked at that. Thank you. Grayscale saying end of the 4-year cycle. All-time high is coming. It would be great. That sounds like great propaganda, right? And can you look at ICNT? Let's take a look at ICNT. Bookmap's still flashing that we could go lower. However, some liquidity came in now at like 97.5, which is interesting. And still a low volume day. Let's take a look at ICNT, Impossible Cloud Net on MEXC. Interesting. It's got a bit of an, what I call an Adam and Eve double bottom, which could possibly pump it to the upside. Let's look at the bigger picture. It looks like I did look at it one time. I don't know when, but I have some support and resistance lines there. So I've bet on this chart at one point in my life. I don't know when or why. Impossible Cloud Network. Sounds like, AI infrastructure, data. Just been kind of sitting sideways for a while, I guess, building. It's in its, low, high, higher, low, higher, high. It has somewhat of an uptrend digging in. It's above the 8-hour 200 moving average. Kind of looks like Bitcoin, as Bitcoin's been going up and down. It looks like, I don't know if they hold a lot of BTC or claim to. Kind of looks like they might. I don't know, but it seems somewhat correlated to the price of BTC. I could be wrong. Seems that way. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Higher low for sure. Above the 2200 is somewhat bullish. Might just basically break out to the top of the range. 4-hour time frame's oversold. MACD's turning. And even the RSI is in a bit of a flag there with a higher low. I mean, that looks like you could get a bounce. Your tweezers are bottoming. So for me, I like that. I mean, I go for that all the time on Bitcoin. And the key is you don't have to risk a lot. It gets you, but there's that's a nice move. This looks like I can't wait to come back to this. It seems like it's going to make a move back to the upside. Somewhere back up to 36 cents. I could be completely wrong. I have no idea what this is. I don't hold any. Please don't, all right? I am not a financial advisor. I just want to make that very clear. I have no idea about this at all. I don't hold any. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just doing TA. It is a higher low. There's a high volume node sticking up there. I like tweezer tops with a 4-hour time, right? Tweezer bottoms on the 4-hour. It is paid many times when I've traded that on Bitcoin. So good chance that it trades well, but no guarantees. Thank you so much for these different insights. Let's take a look at gold for you. And I'm going to show you why I'm so keen on gold, why we made the gold trade, and what I'm talking about here for gold. So the last time we looked at gold, we saw that it was getting very tight inside the flag. Looked like it was going to come up, come down, and break out. We started getting into gold down in here, below, even down into this area with the cup and handle. I took the previous fun. I don't know if you remember, if you've been watching my channel, but if you have, you'll remember that all we did really was take this bars pattern from gold and we put it here, we crunched it down, and you could see that like gold, and when we were here back in the day, we slapped this thing on. I was like, gold looks like it's just going to consolidate yet again. And we used to show you this back then. And we just told you exactly what gold was going to do, because you could say they were going to trade, they were going to, they were printing money, and the charts and reality were 100% in line. So we've been watching this moment all along. I actually gave you this too. We started saying this was going to consolidate before we showed you this flag. I showed you the cup and handle on gold that was, back down here on my channel that had been like since 2011. See? Anyway, you can go back and watch it. We've been on gold for a long, long time. And I was a gold buyer for years. I'm a silver buyer for years. I also, I basically learned how to trade with gold. I started my career buying and selling basically the Direxion Daily Global 3X ETF, right? So now you can look at the bigger picture. The 3-day just looks beautiful. It's just getting started. And I could just see a really nice move here on the 3-day chart for gold. So I'm going for the bigger time frames, and I'm looking for a bigger move. At one point here, it looks like it will have to come down or find some, a bigger type of consolidation. But 5,400 looks very likely. 5,281 for gold somewhere by the end of January, maybe the end of February at the most. It looks like a very likely move here for gold. And then silver and gold. Silver doing beautiful. And my target for silver is 67.97. It looks like it's headed there. It's just taking its time. A little bit of bearish divergence coming. People are going to start taking, they're going to start taking profits out of these trades. That's where you zoom in. I mean, if you look here, though, could be a trade today on silver right now. So, like, you get the Bitcoin breaks out today. You get the midday trade, right? And you have to remember, it's about the rate hike, too. Let's see if the rate hike changed. It's kind of cool to see. You'll look for the data to come in, then you'll watch if the information went up or down on the rates. This is something, so look, this looks bullish to me. And I'm going to put a trade, this is a trade right here. Like, there's an entry for silver now to 69. Stop loss, like, right there, like, technically below. And again, you do whatever makes you happy, but 61.35. Target 69, entry now. I mean, that could play out. It's high risk because silver's been ripping, but man, look at that consolidation above the 200, touch of the 21. I don't see what's stopping silver. Looks very similar to what we had going on here. Played out very nicely. Tight moving averages. Silver on a rippage. I see 69 coming for silver. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe there's a stop out there. Maybe safer to be below 60.90 if you can swing it. But then, it just has to be a deeper risk reward there. So, well, wow, I like what I'm seeing here for silver. Silver looking nice. Let's get into Tesla. Again, I have a gold and silver trade open right now on a gold and Tesla trade open here on BTCC. I'm keeping these trades open for a long, long time. One's up 25, one's up 225%. They're both ripping beautifully. I look for gold to kind of go sideways here on the 4 hour before its next big rip. Looks like it might give us 16 to 20 hours to get in before its next big pump is coming. And so, hey, and we get more and more injection into the markets. But I love these trades. They're going to take their time. They're open on BTCC and they take time. All right, just let them cook and do their thing. And I check them every couple of days. Check them with you guys on the live and just let them do their thing and don't get too crazy on it. Tesla, I wanted to see come back into the zone a little bit and, hit the bottom of the channel. Didn't do that yet. I don't know. I didn't delete that. I wonder why that just disappeared. But anyway, let's look at the big picture for Tesla. Beautiful trend line, which I believe has changed because it's AI now. So its trend was compared to cars and stuff like that. And remember all the controversy, it went up, like nobody cares anymore. Isn't that crazy? The one thing about life is the attention span's different now. We can be in total chaos and a week later, nobody cares. Right? Like so much has happened in our timeline so fast. So it's just amazing how much we get thrown at now. Like how much society can handle really. And my heart goes out, moment of silence to all these shootings that we've had recently. I just want to say, moment of silence. To anyone hurt for any reason, on any, oh my gosh, it's horrible. And to the shooters, man, why are you destroying people's lives? Like, it's just so sad, so sad. Like, I wish, when people are upset, I wish, it's like, why do you have to hurt somebody else? Just go be upset alone somewhere. Someone said XRP check, an update on light. Let's take a look. 87.5, Bitcoin getting sideways here. Struggling, the trade not looking good. Today is a tough day to trade, I'll tell you that. And we're getting smothered, man. I'm being extra risky here, being so far from the. I'm hugging the one. I'm hugging the 1 minute 200. I wanted to see that. That gives me a little bit of structure there. Hey man, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I lose every trade I never open, or I don't win. I can't win the trade I never open. I can't win it. So I gotta put one foot in, shake it all around. I like Tesla here breaking out to 811 on the weekly though. It's gonna take some time, but that's bullish. That's a weekly breakout as far as I'm concerned for Tesla. XRP check. There was a key area XRP had to hold, and it just didn't do it. Even here on the weekly, look at it. Like, that's a key. You can see that. I mean, you lost that channel. So now I got to see where you're coming down to. It looks like you're coming down to 157. Unless you can bottom here. But, like, what's going to stop XRP from dropping lower? I've never been a fan of this like XRP conspiracy theory. It's going to become the one and all this stuff. I mean, I keep some just in case. Remember when I sold the local top though and called it top? Anyway, it is what it is. We'll, you know. Wow, though, it doesn't look amazing to me. I lost a key trend line on the weekly. 3-day charts on the 200 moving average could be a bounce, but like it has to bounce there. It's one of those like has to, and it's lost the trend line. I'm looking for signs of bullishness here. There's a spider line here that I'm attempting to pull off, but it doesn't. There's an alignment there, possibly. Bounce. It came back to its an original trend line. You can see if it loses this, it drops pretty fast to 157. You can see 133 even. I don't mean to be the bearer of bearish news, but just, pay attention. I would basically pre-draw a descending triangle. If it fills out the descender, like you got yourself a dip. You need this to turn into some type of inverted head and shoulder here. You got to get a reversal pattern. Like the chart's got to tell you it's going to do what it's supposed to do. The charts will tell you. I know people don't believe me, but the charts will tell you. Look, this made a descending triangle. Like it told you what was happening. They're very apparent. These are like 90% accurate. When you start getting the flat bottom and the slanted top, you're going down the length. Like, look, this is exactly what happened. The charts never lied. Look, here was kind of a shoulder, head, right shoulder. There was a cup and a handle. You got the bounce. Low stochastics. Here, you've just been fumbling around the whole time. So, I don't know. XRP's got to show us an inverted head and shoulder on this 3-day chart. Otherwise, it's falling to the downside. Looks like it could take basically 2 weeks to January 19th to make it and then dump even more. All coins are sketchy, man. I have to be honest. They don't get that same je ne sais quoi no ma. Some do. Not everything. Someone likes light, which is bit light. Funny, we looked at it, said it could break out of the flag that it was in there. Kind of did. Like it did a little bit of a dippage, but it did break out. Look at that. I am just, slightly changing it, but, it didn't get stopped out. It didn't lose the 200. I mean, it was doing the signal, the 21 above the 200. It then broke above resistance. Wow, that's amazing, right? If you're into this thing, you got to watch it make a flag on the 5. I think it's, might be too low volume for me, but wow. Shout out to whoever talked about it. I mean, we nailed it. And there's not much out there that's hot, but we have been watching this coin on and off for the last couple of weeks. It does have some, people are paying attention to it. So, looks like there could be a little gain there on the 5. For me, no. But hey, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. That will come back to you tenfold. You didn't have to give, but you did. So here we are. We'll see what happens. The trade's only down 5. I leave you with this. I'll update the group with the trade when we come back. What I'd like to do right now is open this up. We'll take a screenshot of the trade. We'll put it out to the trading group and we'll say, hey, this is where we end the live. Okay. Kind of looks like a sloppy head and shoulder. It's tight right now. Well, let's do this. Let's screenshot the whole thing. Ending the live here. And I really, I encourage people, if you missed the live and you're in the trading group, you got to come and timestamp it. Take a look at what I'm talking about, because if not, like, you may miss out on something. I can't like double it up, like do it in the trading group and do it here. Like I'm doing this so much in real time, and I want you to get the information that's important. Remember, even trading today is treachery. I just want to tell you it's high risk, but hey, as you can see, I'm taking a shot. 158 for 758. Imagine I end up making almost $1,000 a day on just being humble and low risk. There's a chance that this plays out over time. I like it. It's 21 above the 200. It is the model. I've backtested the model. It should play out. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for everybody here. Sir, please check Nifty 50. Sam, look at power, said Vedigoat. Let's take a look at power and Nifty 50 before I jump on out of here. Power protocol. It's funny, I heard about power because there was Power Ledger, which was also power. I mean, it looks bullish on the 4-hour time frame. It just came out, right? But you can see it is consolidating. If anything could be hot, maybe this thing's got it. That's the thing about price action now. There's few and far between, so then random coins can just do something crazy. I don't own any of this. I don't know anything about it just yet, but it is looking, it's consolidating above the 200. It could easily just dump in 2 seconds, though. Just remember that. Measured move is 51 cents. It has to be entered at very low, at low risk, man, because it's probably low volume too. So, but it looks interesting. It's got what we talk about. Yes, it's brand new. Gone from 10 cents all the way back to up from 32. Came back down to a fib at 19. Went sideways. It looks interesting. I'll tell you that. Yeah. It looks like it could go sideways. What if it does a 5-act, what it would go from basically, it would double up from about 26 to 51, 52. Someone said Nifty 50. I'll put an alert on it. I'll alert on power, move it over a little bit. I have to be honest, it's giving me a little bit of that old school FOMO. It looks like the coins we used to trade all the time. Just really new in a market that this new, very high risk. Interesting. Power. Let's take a look at Nifty 50. Nifty 50 USD. I mean, that thing looks horrible. Yeah. Rug pull or something. I don't know what this thing is. I'm all set. Someone says, is Trump coin cooked? Let's take a look at Trump coin. Someone asks. Wow, look at that. This thing, what is this thing? Funny, it looks like it is bouncing off a fib right now. I don't know why, but it could be. Let's take a look at Trump coin. And if you want to join the trading group, get the information. Like, we're going to keep you updated on what just happened. I think I'd want to know that. Go to cryptolifer.com to jump on in, and then you can follow the trade all day into tonight. See what I'm doing tonight. Tuesday night, one of my favorite nights to trade, so it's interesting. And you can learn about liquidity, learn when the best times to trade are. You got to trade along with me to really find out the sauce. A year with me is like fast forwarding your life. I'll get you up to speed way quicker. I've seen people with me for a year, and they could do things it's taken people 5 years to do. This looks like it has a little pep to its step. If Bitcoin can recover, this will follow. But it's really all about Bitcoin, everyone. I don't think people realize that. No matter how strong your coin is, it really depends on what Bitcoin's doing. So, and we're down 25 now. Again, we're not over risking today. Remember that. It's not a day to be in heavy risk, in my humble opinion. All right, everyone. I love you. I thank you so much for being here. 12:10. I'm jumping out of the live. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for running up the numbers, the comments, the polls, everybody here. Yeah. Nifty 50 Index, NSC. Yeah. Well, God bless everybody on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. I appreciate you all for being a part of something bigger than yourself and hitting that like button, commenting. I appreciate it. We should get the likes up to the watchers every single show. There's no reason why we can't get up to those numbers. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. I'll be back tomorrow like we do. Thank you for another beautiful stream. Dear Lord, thank you for the ability. I have my voice. I have my health. We got our stream. Thank you for every single thing we've been given in this life. I'm so thankful. And continue with gratitude in the present moment. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Remember, the secret to success, I studied it. You know what it is? It's getting started. Every person started. Today, I listened to Jim Rohn. He talked about the snowball, that you got to start somewhere. Some people want to write a book, and they get overwhelmed. They keep thinking about writing the book. They never do. But how they just wrote a page a day, in a month, that's 30 pages. In 10 months, that's 300. That's a book, right? They've got the book done. So it takes time. All right, but a page a day, 30 pages in a month, 10 pages a day, read 10 pages a day. Okay? If you read 10 pages a day in a month, that's 300 pages. That's a book right there. Okay? That's 10 books a year, just 10 pages and people don't realize, and compared to most people, if you read 10 books in your field, you're going to be really ahead of the crowd. The trade has turned green right now. I just want to talk about how it looks. It looks pretty nice. We'll see what happens. But I'm in there like swimwear. We'll see if we can get this pump. It's a Tuesday. The 21's above the 200. We're flagging. Everything says that I should be able to make a go-go. The only thing I don't like is the low volume on the end of December. You know what I mean? It's just, in the back of my mind, that takes away. If this was like, mid-January, mid-February, in the swing of things, completely different story. So, thank you so much, everyone. I love you. I will see you on the flip side. God bless you all. This is my dad's tie. Thank you, Jimmy Price. I love you. He picked this tie out, so I was channeling his energy today. God bless you, Dad. And God bless my mom. Everyone, thank you so much. I'll see you on the flip side. See you in the trading group, everyone. The secret to success is getting started. Yeah, the snowball effect. Jim Rohn talked about. You just have to start something. You got to put the snow together, and then it rolls and gets bigger and bigger. A snowball starts with just a little bit of snow, but you got to start somewhere. Amen. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.